Not fucking go live or what? Ah, shit. Salakia, y'all. Salakia. I thought I went live earlier. I was like, why ain't I got no view? Why don't I got no views? All right, but anyway, shalom, y'all. Shalom. Y'all, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but their spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. All right. I'm in this live. I'm gonna go into that folly day, Christmas, and its actual origins. And the article I'm gonna go into, straight out of the horse's mouth. It's just scratching the surface, but I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna go into this article kind of like as an introduction into all that. I go into more articles, bring out even more. But this is a history.com article. Yeah, I guess all the afflictions that's been going on, dealing with the affliction, also dealing with also because I'm frustrated because we are with the affliction and Esau is Esau fucked with my life. Esau actually ended my other life early. This damn devil. And this article right here. Oh, now Esau just made my. I swear, man, Esau doing everything he can to stop this truth, but it ain't stopping shit. This truth ain't gonna stop until all the elect is sealed. Deal with the devils. Yeah, but so we don't continue to bring out this truth. I'm gonna bring out this article that these fucking devils actually published on a history of Christmas. Yeah, it's by the history.com editors. So it really is straight out the horse's mouth. And yeah, it's called The History of Christmas. And I'm gonna get right into it. And yeah. Christmas is celebrated on December 25th and is both a sacred religious holiday and a worldwide cultural and commercial phenomenon. For two millennia, people around the world have been observing it with traditions and practices that are both religious and secular in nature. Really, for longer than that. Two millennia, that's more than one millennium. It's been longer than 2,000 years. So-called Christians celebrate Christmas Day as the anniversary of the birth of really it's Yahweh Shai. His name is not Jesus. It's not JC. It's Yahweh Shai. Yeah, of the birth. Some will say of the birth of Yahweh Shai of Nazareth, a spiritual leader whose teachings really Hamashiach. He's not just spiritual leader, whose teachings form the basis of man. Of course, Esau claims the Bible is about a religion. So it says form the basis of their religion. Well, Christianity, that's a religion, but the Bible is not a religion. Popular customs include exchanging gifts, decorating Christmas trees, attending these so called churches, sharing meals with family and friends, and of course, waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. December 25th, Christmas Day, has been a federal holiday in the U.S. since 1870. How did Christmas start? The middle of winter, has long been a time of celebration around the world. Centuries before the arrival of, they say, the man called JC, right? But his name is Yahushai. Early Europeans, his name's Yahushai. Early Europeans celebrated light and birth, and this holiday has nothing to do with Yahushai, which is what this article is going to show. Actually, early Europeans celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. Many peoples rejoiced during the winter solstice when the worst of the winter was behind them, and they could look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight. Which is why they say, yeah, the winter solstice, yeah, that's the darkest day of the year, the darkest it's ever going to get, basically. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21st, the winter solstice, through January. In recognition of the return of the sun, fathers and sons would bring home large logs which they would set on fire. It's about the sun, man. It's about the sun. The people would, the celebration of the return of the sun. Yep. The people would feast until the log burned out, which could take as many as 12 days. The Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year. So is based off of Yule, Yule log, right? That's one holiday is based off of. Even the Christmas tree, they would cut down cedars, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, I think they would. They would do that shit. Decorated trees. And it dates back before Germany. It shows a Christmas tree and it says decorated trees date back to Germany in the Middle Ages, but it dates back even before that. Yeah, it says with German and other settlers popularizing Christmas trees in America, Babylon by the early 19th century, but it dates back even before that because it's in the book of Jeremiah. The end of December was a perfect time for celebration in most areas of Europe. At that time of year, most cattle were slaughtered so they would not have to be fed during the winter. For many, it was the only time of year when they had a supply of fresh meat. In addition, most wine and beer made during the year was finally fermented and ready for drinking. In Germany, people honored the pagan god Odin during the midwinter holiday. Germans were terrified of Odin as they believed he made natural nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people and then decide who would prosper or perish. Because of his presence, many people chose to stay inside. So yeah, they would have, yeah, and also, yeah. All these traditions would go back to that, would go back to Yule. It's one of them holidays it would go back to. Even decorating the outside of your crib with those lights and shit. Saturnalia, yeah, all that, yeah. Putting greens on your fucking shit, garlands and shit on your window, on your windows, and windows on the outside, on your windows on the inside and the outside. Yeah, that would go back to that wreaths and shit on the outside, garland on your door and shit, all that. So that goes back to you, but even before that, I was 414, 144 rearranged, Kala Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Saturnalia in Rome, where winters were not as harsh as those in the far north. Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated. beginning in the week leading up to the winter solstice and leading up, continuing for a full month. Saturnalia was a hedonistic time where food and drink were plentiful, and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. For a month, enslaved people would become masters. Peasants were in command of the city. Businesses and schools were closed so that everyone could join in the fun. Okay, so they making it look like that, like it's a was like a fun type of like I'm still alive. Esau didn't end my life. I was just kicked out of it. And look up hedonistic just so you can see what that means. Define hedonistic. There you go. Hedonistic, engaged in the pursuit of pleasure, sensually self-indulgent. It says a hedonistic is the existence of drink, drugs, and party. Hedonistic, that's like someone that's hedonism mean like not to like carnal, yo. It mean carnal basically. It means carnal. Esau's a very carnal man. Esau sold his birthright for what? For what? Some raw pottage, you know? That's documented in Genesis chapter 25, as well as in 27, I believe. Genesis chapter 25, as well as in Hebrews. You know, for those of y'all that don't know, it's kind of for y'all, because the brethren know that Christmas is going off. Yeah. Hold on. Lest be, yeah, Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person is Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Verse 17. For ye know that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears, or no way to change his mind. Which repent is which I yeah, no place of repentance, no repentance for this devil. Change, which repent means to turn back. So in a way, it does mean to change your mind back. But no way to change your mind. No place of repentance. No place of repentance. Yeah, and then of course, in Deuteronomy, when you read about Esau, what happened with Esau. Yeah, Esau, Esau, yep. Genesis 25 and 30, yep. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint, therefore was his name called Edom. Yep, okay, yeah, con. Yeah, so this is a real carnal man. Hey, yeah, yeah, he that, yeah, living, engaged in the pursuit of pleasure, sexually, okay, essentially, also that too, self-indulgent, yep. Yeah, that's why a hedonistic person is committed to seeking sensual pleasure, the type of guy you might find in a massage parlor or the all-you-can-eat buffet. That's why hedonistic folks revel in pleasure and demand it in the present tense. That sounds like Esau. That sounds like Esau straight up. Also, you you Jakes, you Jakes that you follow after Esau. There's actually a precept that cuts that he that is that why he liveth? That one. That while she liveth. Yup. Talking about a woman that do that shit. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. Yup. Cause all that. If you all about that, yo. Speaking about women. But there's other precepts that make clear that you're not supposed to do that shit anyways. Because you're willing to go off if you do that. If you that's the mindset you're in. You're willing to go off and you don't give a fuck. 1 Timothy 5 and 6. Oh yeah, 5. Now she that is the widow indeed and desolate trusteth in Yahweh and continueth in supplications and prayer night and day. Verse 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Yup. So that's what that shit mean. Yeah, that just scratched the surface. This, like I said, this article just scratches the surface when it comes to that shit. We have to think even when it talks about that, about hedonistic time, right? Um, what does Esau like to do? What does Esau like to do for pleasure? You don't have to use your imagination much. But also, around the time of the winter solstice, which this ain't got no Romans observed Juvenalia, a feast honoring the children of Rome. In addition, members of the upper classes often celebrated the birthday of Mithra, the god of the unconquerable sun, on December 25th. It was believed that Mithra, an infant god, was born of a rock. For some Romans, Mithra's birthday was the most sacred day of the year. That actually ties in with the Yule as well. Our celebration of the sun. That all goes back to Nimrod, all that shit. Which is why the Babylonians celebrated this holiday as well. This goes back to them. And then now we at the now this part of the article is Christmas really the day. They say Jesus, but it's Yahweh Shai. So is Christmas really the day Yahweh Shai was born? In the early years of Christianity, they lying, because they lying about this one too, because Easter is not our custom either. It says in the early years of Christianity, what they mean is the early church. That's what they mean by that. Easter was the main holiday, which that's not true. That's not true. We didn't do that shit either. We celebrated the biblical feasts, but we didn't go into these pagan holidays. Like Easter is an obvious pagan holiday. The name itself comes from a pagan. The name itself is the name of a pagan goddess of fertility. Named Easter comes from. It originally goes back to Ishtar. And also that's Semiramis too. Yeah, This says Easter is the main holiday, but that's a lie. The birth of Yahushai was not celebrated. Because nowhere in the Bible does it tell you to celebrate birthdays, or did any the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai celebrate birthdays. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention date for his birth. No, it doesn't. A fact Puritans later pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of the celebration, because it don't. Although some evidence, and even Esau in his early days of rulership recognized that. And although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in the spring, which, that's the most likely time period when Yahushua was born. Because, why would shepherds be herding in the middle of winter? Yeah, Khan. Because when Yahushua was born, you had shepherds. You had shepherds out there with their flocks, and they wouldn't be doing that shit in the middle of winter. So even if it was not going off, even if even if it was we was supposed to celebrate the birthday of Yahushai, that's the wrong day. That's not the right day. Yeah, Luke 2 verse 8, and they were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. Yeah. Shepherds wouldn't be in the field keeping watch over their flock, because their flock wouldn't be out there in the field during the winter. So that's going off. Pope Julius the First chose December 25th. Constantine, he mandated all this. He made all this. He made this all became part of Christianity. This actually, yeah, this all became part of Christianity, that the new state religion. It was actually created during this time period because the Bible does not the Bible did not create a religion. Religion comes from religio, meaning to hold back. So the Bible did not create a religion. But of course Esau is gonna Esau is gonna say that shit. When the Bible mentions religion, a few times it do, it's not talk. You look into the Greek, and it ain't talking about. It's just a translation of that Greek word, and that Greek word don't mean that. Though that Greek word goes into these different customs, the different customs of the law, like the I guess you could say the ritualistic type customs, like you know, okay, what? How can I put it? Ceremonial, ritualistic is a not a good way to put it. Ceremonial, the ceremonial parts of the law, like wearing fringes. But that don't hold you back, so it's not like when it's not in that sense. But yeah, the religion, they when they call the Bible, they basically call the Bible a religious book that's going off. Yeah, but yeah, Pope Julius the First chose December 25th, and then Constantine, basically mandated all that and made it the state religion. It is commonly believed that the church chose this date in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. So it was like a compromise. They added to they added to that's going off too. You're not supposed to add celebrations. You're not supposed to add celebrations. Like, especially dealing with the Most High Yahweh, Son Yahweh Shai. You're not supposed to add celebrations. There's already feasts that are ordained. You know, he tells you how to worship him, basically, and what feasts you should celebrate in honor of him. Ah, fuck my tongue. Ah, started up right after that. Let me get that preset about don't learn the customs of the heathen. Don't learn the way of the heathen. precept in Deuteronomy. So I can pull that up. Deuteronomy 12 and 30. Yep. Take heed to that. Oh, verse 29. When Yahweh thy power shall cut off all the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them and dwellest in their land. Verse 30. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Verse 31, thou shalt not do so unto Yahweh thy power, for every abomination to Yahweh. Man, this plague. Well, it's not a plague, it's more like it's an affliction. Shit. Hurts like hell. To Yahweh which he hated have they done unto their gods. Their power, their gods. Fuck. Even their sons and their daughters have they burnt in the fire to their gods. Verse 32, what things soever I command you, observe to do it, thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish from it. Yeah, so like they ain't even supposed to do that. They was going off. It was Jake's. They were there. It was Jake that was in charge of the Roman Empire back then. During that time period, that was the 300s, same time period as Constantine. He was a Jake. He was a nigga. You know, he was a 2/3 actually. Because he introduced all these. Him and Julius them actually introduced all these pagan festivities. And it was Jake. Yeah, it was Jake that had been in control of Rome since Septimus Severus, who came before him, of course. It is commonly believed that the church chose this date in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. Constantine himself, he was a pagan. he himself was a pagan. But it was like, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Learn the ways of the heathen. You're definitely not supposed to add celebrations. Yeah, according to verse 32, what things soever I command you observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish from it. You're not supposed to add thereto. That's adding thereto. And adding a pagan celebration at that. They was going off all the way. First called the feast of the. They was going off big time. First called the feast of the nativity. The custom spread to Egypt by 432 and to Egypt, England by the end of the 6th century. So feast of the nativity, yo. In Spanish, it's called Navidad. While holding Christmas at the same time as traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased the chances that Christmas would be popularly celebrated, but gave up the ability to dictate how it was celebrated. By the Middle Ages, Christianity, for the most part, had replaced pagan religion. That's because they incorporated a lot of their celebrations. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrated raucously in a drunken carnival-like atmosphere similar to today's Mardi Gras. Each year, a beggar student would be crowned Lord of Misrule, quote unquote, and eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor would go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drink. If older owners failed to comply, their visitors would most likely terrorize them with mischief. Christmas became the time of the year when the upper classes could repay their real or imagined debt to society by entertaining less fortunate citizens. Yeah, oh, and Jake ruled during the so-called Middle Ages, Dark Ages. When Christmas was canceled, there may have been a reason why Esau was against it at first. Well, I don't, no, Esau was taught by our people that was taught like well was Esau learned Christianity from our people, I guess. I mean, Esau knew that was going off because I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it out. When Christmas was canceled in the early 17th century, a wave of religious reform changed the way Christmas was celebrated in Europe. When Oliver Cromwell and his Puritan forces took over England in 1645, they vowed to rid England of decadence, and as part of their efforts, canceled Christmas. By popular demand, Charles II was restored to the throne. He was Jake, and with them came the return of the popular holiday. The Pilgrims, English separatists that came to America in 1620, were even more orthodox in their Puritan belief than Cromwell. As a result, Christmas was not a holiday in early America. From 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was actually outlawed in Boston. Those pilgrims were Edomites. Anyone that you see how they treated Gad, right? They were Edomites. Anyone exhibiting the Christmas spirit was fined 5 shillings. By contrast, in the Jamestown settlement, also Edomites, Captain John Smith reported that Christmas was enjoyed by all and passed without incident. After the American Revolution, English customs fell out of favor, including Christmas. In fact, Christmas wasn't declared a federal holiday until June the 26th, 1870. So Esau Esau didn't really fuck with Christmas until 1870. Until that time period. Washington Irving reinvents Christmas. It wasn't until the 19th century that Americans began to embrace Christmas. Americans reinvented Christmas and changed it from a raucous carnival holiday into a family-centered day of peace and nostalgia. But what about the 1800s piqued American interest in the holiday? And this is why. This is like the real reason why Esau took interest. The early 19th century, well, yeah, one of many reasons. You see why. You'll see why. It also shows how this is actually shows how this is Rome all over again because I'm gonna just bring it out. The early 19th century was a period of class conflict and turmoil. During this time, unemployment was high, and gang rioting by the disenchanted classes often occurred during the Christmas season. In 1828, the New York City Council instituted the city's first police force in response to a Christmas riot. This catalyzed certain members of the upper classes to begin to change the way Christmas was celebrated in America. In 1819, best-selling author Washington Irving wrote the sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon Gent, a series of stories about the celebration of Christmas in the English manor house. The sketches feature a squire who invited the peasants into his home for the holiday. In contrast to the problems facing American society, the two groups mingled effortlessly. In Irving's mind, Christmas should be a peaceful, warm-hearted holiday bringing groups together across lines of wealth to social status. Irving's fictitious celebrants enjoyed ancient customs, quote unquote, including the crowning of a lord of misrule. Irving's book, however, was not based on any holiday celebration he had attended. In fact, many historians say that Irving's account actually invented tradition by implying that it described the true customs of the season. That was bullshit. But basically, hold on. Uh, uh, uh. All right, so basically, they started pushing it as a way to basically calm the mass, basically stop them from rioting and shit, because they was pissed off. It was Jake was going through the curses and shit. You have to imagine Jake was going through the curses, and they was pissed off. They was pissed off. Well, it was a way. It was a way to shit, and even they was oppressing their own people. Jake was going through the curses during that time period. But yeah, they used it as a way to basically basically like bread and circuses. Basically, they used it like that so that the 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 lower classes give them something to celebrate. Basically, give them something to celebrate. And they push it in a way that basically shut them up. Basically, you know, come together with the basically they push it as a time to come together with the rich and shit. Basically. Yeah, basically. It's kind of how they push it now, but it's more commercialized. A Christmas Carol, also around this time, English Edomite author Charles Dickens created the classic holiday tale of Christmas Carol. The story message the importance of charity and goodwill towards all humankind struck a powerful chord in the United States and England and showed members of Victorian society the benefits of celebrating the holiday. So they was pushing it out like, oh, it's a nice family holiday. It ain't that shit that y'all thought it was. It's a nice family holiday or whatever. They still push that out today. All them Hallmark movies that come out on this holiday and shit, this folly day. The family was also becoming less disciplined and more sensitive to the emotional needs of children. During the early 1800s, Christmas provided families with a day that when they could lavish attention and gifts on their children without appearing to spoil them, quote unquote. But that shit go back even before this. It was being brought back. As Americans began to celebrate Christmas as a perfect family holiday, old customs were unearthed. People looked toward recent immigrants in Catholic and Episcopalian churches, so-called churches, to see how the day should be celebrated. In the next 100 years, Americans built a Christmas tradition all their own that included pieces of many other customs, including decorating trees, sending holiday cards, and gift giving. Although most families quickly bought into the idea that they were celebrating Christmas how it had been done for centuries, which is not true. Americans had really reinvented the holiday to fill the cultural needs of a growing nation. Yeah, because it wasn't that shit that they was pushing that they made it out to be is actually a pagan holiday. You know, while they was doing that, the elites was celebrating it the way it was. You know, celebrating Yule and shit. That's what the elites celebrate. The elites know what this holiday is really about. You know, and that Christmas tree, you know, it's in Jeremiah chapter 10. You know, verse 1, hear the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Verse 2, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3, for the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hand of the workman with the axe. Verse 4, they deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammer, that it move not. Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. You know, it's an idol. It's an idol. You know, actually, when you're putting gifts under that, it symbolizes like you're putting gifts under the idol. It symbolizes all that. Yeah, and then next section going to Santa Claus. Not like I'm saying, like I said before, it's just scratching the surface. But who invented Santa Claus is what it's titled. The legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas, who was born in Turkey. Well, that's yeah, the Jake. He was a Jake. Who was born in Turkey around 280 A.D. Saint Nicholas gave away all of his inherited wealth and traveled the countryside helping the poor and sick, becoming known as the protector of children and sailors. Saint Nicholas first entered American popular culture in the late 18th century in New York, when Dutch families gathered to honor the anniversary of the death of Saint Nicholas, Dutch for Saint Nicholas, or Sinterklaas for short. Yeah, Santa Claus, they say, draws his name from this abbreviation, which, nah, man, because Santa's feminine. Santa's feminine. Santo, you know, I'll be male. The Santa is feminine. It's not, it's not. So they lying, of course, draws his name from this abbreviation. And in the Dutch celebration, they actually show you, they actually have a demon called Krampus that will visit children when they misbehave and shit. They also have a demon, you know, that's in there. They show you more of the pagan roots of the holiday than when you're in Babylon. They make they make more obvious. Even though it's obvious enough, you don't really have to dig much. In 1822, Episcopal minister Clement Clark Moore wrote a Christmas poem called An Account of a Visit from St. Nicholas, quote unquote. And that's when they started to push that out. They started to link it up with this holiday. More popularly, which it wasn't before, more popularly known today by its first line, quote unquote, "'Twas the night before Christmas." The poem depicted Santa Claus as a jolly man who flies from home to home on a sled driven by reindeer to deliver toys. I remember them pushing that shit on us when we was growing up, you know. Of course. That's the shit that Esau pushed out. The iconic version of Santa Claus is a jolly man in red with the white beard and a sack of toys was immortalized in 1881. So that image that they have, that they pushed out. when political cartoon, so fat Edomite in red, basically, with the white beard and a sack of toys. That shit was immortalized. Well, it was being pushed down. It was a moralized coin, I guess. Shit. Yeah. Moralized in 1881 when political cartoonist Thomas Nast, the Edomite, the same Edomite was behind the demonization of the Irish Jakes. You know, they was linked. Well, they part of how they do it is they link this up to so-called black people, which they was in line. The Irish Jakes do come from so-called black people, but we was both being demonized by this devil as violent drunkards, shit, gangsters, all that shit. By this same devil. He's like a top propagandist back then. Yeah, when political cartoonist Thomas Nast drew on Moore's poem to create the image of old Saint Nick we know today. So they created that image. Esau created that image. Christmas facts: each year, 30 to 35 million real Christmas trees are sold in the U.S. alone. There are about 21,000 Christmas tree growers in the United States, and trees usually grow for about 15 years before they are sold. In the Middle Ages, Christmas celebrations were rowdy and raucous, a lot like today's Mardi Gras parties, like Saturnalia, right? When Christmas was canceled from 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was outlawed in Boston, and lawbreakers were fined 5 shillings. And Christmas was declared a federal holiday in the United States on June 26, 1870. I believe it was banned in Alabama too, because that was like it was going off. It was going off. They knew it was going off. But in John Smith's Jamestown settlement, they actually celebrated that shit over there. So those Edomites celebrated it, but the Edomites in Massachusetts didn't celebrate it. Yeah, the first eggnog made in the United States was consumed in Captain John Smith's 1607 Jamestown settlement. Yeah. Hold up. Yes, other little facts they got. Other little, basically trivia facts. Like, hey, that Rudolph shit. The most famous reindeer of all was a product of Robert L. May's imagination. In 1939, the copywriter wrote a poem about the reindeer to help lure customers into the Montgomery Ward department store. It's like advertisement. Wait, that's about Jake anyways. That story is about Jake. Straight up. Rudolph symbolized Jake. That shiny nose and shit. Jake is the light of the world, salt of the earth, but really that's the elect. But that's Jake to the rest of the heathen nations. Jake is the stars, right? That's about Jake. He got clowned on and shit because of his nose, but now because of his nose, at the end of the story, all the other reindeer wanted to follow him. Like all the other reindeer was cool with him. You know how it go, right? Santa was had him at the front, leading the pack because of his nose and shit. That's about you just search niggas, but it on upload last hour, only upload last hour, LMAO. Con. Hmm. Only uploaded the last hour. The fuck? The fuck? Uploaded last hour. The fuck? It's on uploaded last hour. Esau. Okay, Con. Con, I'm still live though. Well, I don't know. That shit's weird. Yeah, Rudolph is definitely about Jake, about you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds. You Israelites that look like the other nations. You go back. You're the same people as the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You the southern and northern kingdom, but you don't look like a so-called black man, a Latino, or Native American. You look like these other nations. You look like for example, you could look like so-called Chinese, so-called East Indian, which so-called Chinese and the Moabites, so-called East Indians, Elamites, so-called Japanese, so-called Arab, Ammon, Ishmael, right? You know, you don't look like so-called black man, Latino, or Native American, but on your father's side, you go back to one of the 12 tribes. You're the same people as you're the same race, the same nationality as the so-called blacks, Latinos, or Native Americans. You're Israelite too, because your father's lineage goes back to an Israelite. That's what but that's speckled bird because you look like yeah, come on. The speckled bird is it's a bird that it got speckled, right? Speckles is white, I believe. It's black and speckles is white. Leaving, yeah, it's what you get whenever you look up. Yeah, whenever you look up speckled bird, like multicolored. You know what I'm saying? If you look up speckled bird, I'm pretty sure it's what you get. Done it before. If you look up speckled bird, so it's what it. Yeah, it's how it looks like. It's like multicolored, yo. It's speckled is multicolored. Brown, there's brown speckled birds, yellow speckled birds. Yeah, there's even like a little kind of white-ish speckled bird, but it's got blunt brown spots and shit. It's different. Speckled birds was all the same type of deal, you know. Gray speckled birds, the black speckled birds, and they all and it got white spots. It's black speckled bird. They got white spots. A speckled bird. It's the same. That's what it means. Yeah, you get the point. Yeah, so basically that's Jake. Rudolph represents Jake with the shiny nose. All that's like an analogy for Jake and the rest of the heathens. Well, it's like and the heathens, the other reindeer. We end up following Rudolph and well, Santa and the other reindeer end up following Rudolph's lead and shit because of his nose being bright and all that. So yeah, it's about Jake. It's about Jake. But yeah, it was being used. That story was being used to help lure customers into Montgomery Ward department store. It was like an advertisement. And of course, they gotta put something about Jake. They gotta put something about Jake. Like really, it was like probably supposed to clown me. They're probably trying to clown our people, like they always do. But hey, don't worry. Hey, what? When it's on TV, who? When people hear that story, who do they want to win? Rudolph. They root for Rudolph. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Fucking tongue. No, I ain't about to watch that shit. Yeah, I'm looking at the news on here. Millions set to lose jobless benefits amid Trump standoff with Congress. This place is through. Hey, this holiday, Christmas, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even. It was dead, man. It was not like how it was before. People ain't feeling that shit no more. Not. I ain't supposed to celebrate that shit, but it shows that Egypt, Egypt. Well, this is Sodom and Egypt all over again. It's that great city. This place, is through. It's through. It's not. It's no longer what it is. The city of confusion is broken down. 24 verse 10. Isaiah 24 verse 10. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Verse 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Yup. Yeah. You know, that's coming soon. The city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Verse 12. Yup. That's coming soon. It was just this live, like, was gonna be mainly about that the origins of Christmas. Oh yeah, I was gonna get that Nimrod's birthday, the 25th. Nimrod's birthday, December 25th. That's Nimrod's birthday. Yeah. Yeah, Nimrod. It's also the traditional birthdays of Nimrod. This article tells you about it. Osiris in Egypt. It's the birthday of Osiris. Jupiter, and various other representations of the child god of the Babylonian religious system. Yup. Nimrod. To understand the history of the child god, we have to begin with Genesis 8 and 10. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh, whereof is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, right? And Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Yo, Babal, so he was like the first king of Babylon, basically. Nimrod the Cushite. The Bible does not identify Nimrod's mother or the date of his birth, but Egyptian and Babylonian antiquities identify his mother as Semiramis, and his birthday is celebrated on the 25th of December. Sometimes Semiramis is referred to as the mother of Nimrod and sometimes as his wife, leading to the belief that Nimrod married his mother. Probably the fucking Hamites. The biblical reference to Nimrod as a mighty hunter is important because he was seen as a savior, and dirty Hamites, right? It's important because he was seen as the savior of the ancient world. For that very reason, people were living, because he tried to unite the whole world. People were living in small, scattered villages with little protection for wild animals. Nimrod was more than just a hunter, yeah. Than just a hunter, but he was also a charismatic figure who would gather people together to build walled cities where they could live in safety. They were obedient to him as their leader and considered that their loss of independence was a price worth paying for the safety that Nimrod and his kingdom offered. There's nothing in the Bible but about the death of Nimrod, but the ancient tradition said he died of all death. Okay. We don't know. Basically, we don't know. It doesn't say in the Bible. It said one tradition said he was killed by a wild animal. Another said that Shem killed him because he led the people into the worship of Baal. Okay. We don't know. We don't know what happened to that heathen, right? We don't know what happened to him. His wife, Mother Semiramis, who had risen to greatness on his account, was not going to disappear into obscurity because of his death. Instead, she pronounced him to be a god. so that she herself became a goddess. She produced another son and proclaimed him to be the resurrected Nimrod. This was not difficult because she was so promiscuous she produced many children whose father could not be identified. She proclaimed that she had gone down to the world of the dead, rescued Nimrod, and brought him back. Yep. Thus began the worship of Semiramis and the child god and the whole paraphernalia of the Babylonian religious systems. That's where all that came from. All that shit came from that. From Nimrod. And then after the decline of Babylon, the religion was transported to Egypt, where they worshipped Isis and her husband Osiris, who was mysteriously able to give the seed of procreation even after death, so that the child god of Horus was born. Yep. The mother and child deities appeared again in pagan Rome as Fortuna and Jupiter, and in Greece's chariot Ceres, the great mother, with a babe at her breast, or as Irene, the goddess of peace, with the boy Plutus in her arms. Okay, yeah. And that's how they got it. And that's how they tried to make it sound Christian, whatever. They try to make it sound like some righteous. Yeah, the myths of yeah. I'm gonna get into it. The myths of death and rebirth have always been associated with the cycle of agricultural seasons. In Egypt, it was the inundation of the Nile, but elsewhere in the northern hemisphere, which constitutes most of the Earth's landmass, it was about the death and rebirth of the sun. When Nimrod came to symbolize the sun. The winter solstice used to be on December 25th, and people always held a festival at that time because they knew that the days would start to get longer. A matter of great importance when there was no electric lights, no imported foods, etc., etc. Yeah, it was on December 25th, where all that comes from. And idolatry in the church, yeah. They, yeah. Yeah, they try to. That's where they came with the virgin birth. That's why they came with that. When really the word there is young woman. That's why they came with that word. There is young woman. And Isaiah, the prophecy in Isaiah, it matches that prophecy. The young woman, like very young woman, like very young woman would give birth. 13, 14. That's probably around how old she was. She would give birth. That actually means that, but they took that and they instead say no. She was like a virgin, like never, like a virgin, like they didn't have sex. The Joseph and Mary didn't have sex, and they took it further and said that they never did. They took it further than what they believe today, and they because they was trying to link it up with with these pagan celebrations. Yeah. That's where Christmas came in. Yeah, and the Christmas tree. Okay, yeah. It seems that's where this come from. It seems a strange thing to do, cutting down a tree from the forest and putting it in your house, deprived of nourishment, and because the roots have been cut off. If I wanted to look at a tree, I would go into the forest where there are thousands of them, growing taller and more majestic with each passing year. Yeah, so Christian wrote this, but he's telling the truth about Christmas, though, testifying to the glory of God. Really, his name is Yahweh, okay? The Most High's name is Yahweh. The Christmas tree is based on And the Most High Power, his name is Yahweh. Of course, you get it. Of course, he's of course, he's gonna say that, but he's gonna call him God, not Yahweh. But yeah, this article is telling the truth about Christmas, the actual that holiday. The Christmas tree is based off on mythology that originated in Babylon. For those who do it in a traditional manner, the Yule log, and Yule a pagan holiday, remember, is thrown into the fire on Christmas Eve, representing death and destruction. Then on Christmas Day, there is a tree covered in decorations and surrounded with presents representing new life, the resurrected Nimrod. Hey, that's where it comes from. There's also a violation of Jeremiah 2, verse 5, where it's denounced as a heathen idol. It is. It is. It is. And he ain't lying. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. It's also a violation of those verses in Deuteronomy that I read. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold, they fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is in them to do good. No, because it's like, it's an idol, yo. It's an idol. Yeah, it's going off, man. Antediluvian year. Yeah, okay. Yeah, while the earth remaineth heat, time and harvest, and cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Genesis 8:22. Okay. Okay, they're going some parts going off. Yes, it's going off. It's going off. This whole point also Deuteronomy 12:29-32 is tell you not to do that. When Yahweh thy power shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, as thou succeedest them and dwellest in their land. Verse 30, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so I will do likewise. Verse 31, thou shalt not do so unto Yahweh thy power, for every abomination to Yahweh which he hated have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burned in the fire to their gods. Verse 32, what thing soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish from it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Chanukah does not actually happen around that time. It happens before. Talking about Chanukah. Yep. Yeah, basically, yeah. The December 25th. That's the birthday of Nimrod. That's the birthday of Nimrod. Not Yahushai's. He was. It has nothing to do with Yahushai. Straight up. Oh yeah, and they had Tammuz. Yeah, and then Tammuz was basically they said that was Nimrod come back. Semiramis said that was Nimrod come back. And then yeah, Nimrod became the sun god, yo. And then Semiramis, she was the queen of heaven. That's all where all that shit come from. And that's Ishtar. Ishtar as Ishtar Ishtar Astarte, Easter even. Easter, you know. Also Saturnalia was on that day too. Saturn represents Satan, I believe. It's pagan. It's enough right there to show you that it's pagan. It's not. They ain't doing nothing to do with the Bible. And I don't know about this part. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, it's been exposed. That's birthday of the sun. That's birthday that's the birthday of Nimrod, yo. That's not, and that had nothing to do with the Hell Shy. Oh, shut up. Now they have a fucking damage control site for that as well. Christmas misconceptions. Nigga, shut up. Nah, get the hell out of here, nigga. Now they got damage control sites for that shit, man. They need to get the hell out of here with that shit. Got damage control sites so you could go back to those pagan customs. You could go back to those pagan customs and think you're not going off because some damage control site published some weak ass damage control hit piece. They always do that shit. Always when some truth come out, they try to say that it's bugged out. And no, 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 don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. Like get the hell out of here. Damn it, with your damage control bullshit. The hell out of here. This like called White Christmas. They're trying to push that back. They're trying to push that holiday again. Like, no, 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 don't listen to those people. This holiday is just fine. You're not going off. And get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I always had them. Damage control sites really piss me off because they're fucking annoying, man. They're fucking annoying. Like little sites that claim to debunk the truth and shit. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Sure, you stupid ass man. I'm trying to debunk the truth. Which of course it's expected, but still it's annoying. They'll try to debunk any truth that comes out. Any truth. They just want you to be in total darkness. They're like, no, 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 put the covering cast back on. That's how Esau's like. Put the covering cast back on is good for you. And if you're stupid, you'll listen. If you're stupid, you'll listen. You'll come across a damage control site. You'll be like, see, y'all are lying because it's, and you'll get shit from the site to try to prove it. But you know, people are not that stupid anymore. People are not that stupid. Fucking Esau. Esau's annoying for real. The devil is annoying. Fucking that devil is so annoying. That devil is so annoying. The way this devil lies about everything, and then continues to lie and lies even more. Lies even more to cover up those lies. Lying ass devil. Just lies, 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 lies. Devil lies over and over and over again. Yeah, put that covering cast back on. Try to get you to put that covering cast back on. But it's too late, Esau. You've been exposed. And these holidays you pushed have been exposed. These folly days have been exposed as they've been exposed as folly days. They've been exposed as folly days and pagan. The fuck out of here, bitch. Can't do shit about it. Even though you quit trying to do something about it. You can't. You're through. There's some Edomite behind that shit. Once you keep going off against your power. But hey, Isaiah 25 verse 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. I mean, it's destroyed. The covering cast is destroyed. It's over with, Esau. It's over with. Can't do shit about it. Give it up. Fucking covering cast that he got. It's been exposed. That our enemies have been found to be liars. I'll wrap it up after this. Shall be found liars. Deuteronomy 23 and 29. Talking about our enemies shall be found liars. Esau's been exposed. Deuteronomy 33. Fucking Esau. Deuteronomy 33, verse, hold on. 20, verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who's like unto thee, O people saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. They're being found liars. Yep. They're being found liars unto us, man. Because verse 26, there is none like unto the God of Yeshurun, the power of Yeshurun, Yahweh, right? Who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. Verse 27, the eternal power, Yahweh, is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. And we are spiritually destroying them right now, but it's going to get physical. Don't worry, it's going to get physical. Well, Esau should worry. Esau is worried. Trust me. First, that's why he's putting out he's putting out so much damage control, and he's getting ready to censor this truth. Verse 28: Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also as heaven shall drop down dew. Yep, in verse 29, help our enemies being found liars. Yep. Happy art thou, Israel. Yep. Who is like unto thee, the shield, O people saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. You know, y'all through. You devils are through. You devils are through. Y'all been exposed. Been found to be liars. And that's why y'all devils about to try to censor this truth, but that's all right. That was prophesied about too. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Verse 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. Verse 14, they that swear by the sin of Samaria, and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall, never rise up again. 2/3, can fall because you slept on this truth. Because you slept on this truth, this bread of life. You slept on this bread of life, so there's gonna be a time. There's a time coming when you ain't gonna be able to get it. Amos 9 verse 10. That's how this gonna happen. The sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. All the sinners of our people. You're through. You're through, and you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Y'all have to go so that our nation. Y'all have to go so that our nation will be all right again. Y'all have to go so that our nation will be all right again, and then y'all gonna be reborn in your right minds in the kingdom. Verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. You Edomites see this shit. The other heathen nations as well. And you Edomites are proud, but y'all released a movie called Esau, where y'all basically admit y'all are Esau in a roundabout way. Because that's how y'all do shit anyways. There was this so-called white man, which he could be Edomite, trying out for a house nigga position, or he in the kingdom, because y'all gonna be slaves, or he could have been a speckled bird. We don't know. If he was being honest, like just trying to spread the truth, he was Edomites are not like about spreading the truth just to spread the truth. They don't have no type of humility to them. Not unless they're trying to gain some. They're trying to like be a house slave or some shit. If they're trying to be that in the kingdom, then of course they're gonna do that. So he could have been an Edomite, yeah, trying to do that, but he could have been also, I'd say he could have been a speckled bird. We don't know his intentions. It all depends on his intentions. Oh, it's 140, 140 and 40 some second color, y'all, but shimmy all shy. It's 144 in that. Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. That's why you devils are shook. And of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this. Verse 13, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Jake overtake these heathens in Esau. And the treader of grapes, him that sows seed. And same thing there. And the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Yep. No, which gonna lead to the kingdom. Yep. Verse 14, and I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. Oh, 140, 144, 140, 1 minute, 41, 1 hour 41 minutes and 44 seconds. So when I looked at the camera, when I looked at the phone, checked the time. I saw. Kala Yaba Shimmy outside. Seen that a lot. Verse 14, and I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit thereof. So the reversal of the curses. From curses to blessings. And you devils are going from blessings to curses. Your blessing is ending. It's over with. You know, Jacob got next. Esau, the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it, of the next thereof. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. You're through. Just face it. He already put out a movie admitting in a roundabout way that y'all are Esau. Verse 15, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. That land that you devils claim with all the joy of your heart, and with the spiteful mind, is going to be ours. Again, you devils are going to get cleansed out of that land. That land is going to be cleansed by the best cleansing agent there is, fire. By the hottest fire, nuclear fire. It's going to be cleansed. When y'all go fuck with Iran, just watch what happens. Y'all going to get smoked, literally. Y'all go fuck with Iran, y'all going to get smoked. But y'all going to do it because you're proud. You're proud as fuck. So, of course, y'all think y'all the ish, yeah, but y'all really just ish. Jeremiah 51 verse 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Babylon and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Verse 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cries heard among the nations. Yep. And then same thing for you Edomites. Yep. Jeremiah 49, 20 and 21, he's proposed that against the inhabitants of Edom. Verse 20, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Edom and proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Verse 21, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, and at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Verse 22, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Yep. Through, over with, finito, no more. It's the final countdown. Y'all through, y'all over with. Going down to the stones of the pit. Isaiah 14, verse 12. Verse 11, thy pomp is brought to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit. Hold on. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, Verse 14, I will send above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. Verse 19, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden underfoot. Verse 20, thou shalt Verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the children, Salakia for that, dealing with afflictions, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Verse 22, for I will raise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh. Verse 23, I will also make it a possession for the bittern, and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh of hosts. Salakia. Verse 24, Yahweh of hosts have sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and I have proposed, as I have proposed, so shall it stand. Verse 25, that I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread them underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. Verse 26, this is the purpose that is proposed upon the whole earth, and this is a hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. Verse 27, for Yahweh of hosts has proposed, and who shall disannul it? And this hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? Who? Yep, he threw, he doubles through. Yep. Fourteen and 1, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Verse 3, and it shall come to pass, hold on. In that day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy bondage that thou was made to serve. Verse 4, that thou shalt take this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how has the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Verse 5, Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Verse 7, the whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. It's quiet, they break forth in the scene. Verse 8, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Verse 9, hail from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth that has raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. Verse 10, and they shall speak, and all they shall speak and say unto thee, thou also become weak as we are become like unto us. Yeah, and it continues with thy pomp is brought down to the grave, all that. So yeah, I hope this live was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. double honest. Yeah, yeah. You know, yeah, yeah. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but their spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. Stay strong. You know, shout out to all the Bayat Dawadah. Stay strong. We almost out of here. Enduring to the end. The same shall be saved. Matthew 24:13. You know, don't fear anything this devil will try to put us through. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. For behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Verse 11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Yeah. Yeah, and verse 10 of Revelation chapter 3. Behold, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah, man. He's gonna keep you from being tempted, from falling to temptation. Verse 11. Behold, I come quickly. Hold thou fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall no more go out. You know, hold that fast which thou hast, and no man take thy crown. Corona, right? Corona is Spanish for crown. What are they really aiming at? Not no damn virus. It's chemical lobotomy. That jab, chemical lobotomy. Yeah. Well, they really aiming at that crown. They trying to take Esau's trying to take that blessing away. He's trying to take that crown. But he can't. But he's gonna try, and you 2/3 will take it, you know. You take the jab, and then you're probably gonna take the chip because it's chemical lobotomy. So it's like a prelude to the chip. That's why you know, you gotta resist that as well. Verse 12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall no more go out. And I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I'll write upon him my new name. Yeah. So, you know, it pays off to overcome. Pays off to overcome. You know, so make sure you do that. Make sure, hey, well, if you're the elect, you're gonna overcome. You know. And they sang the song of Moses. Let me get it. Revelation 15:1. And I heard saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh. Verse 2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten victory over the beast and over his image and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Yahweh. Verse 3, and they sang the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord power almighty, just true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Verse 4, who shall not fear thee, O Yahweh, and glorify thy name, for thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. You know, but on the flip side, you take that chip, Revelation 14, verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and the aeons, and they have no rest day or night. who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So, aeons and aeons, very long time of that. Verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. It's going to take patience, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Verse 13, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in Yahweh Shai from henceforth, yet save the spirit that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Revelation 13, verse 10, he that go into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and faith of the saints. So with that, I hope this live was edifying, Stay strong, and inshallah.